Hey guys, doing a video here on how you can make some money with your reef tank, making it a working reef tank. Or at least in my case, having it pay for itself beyond that initial startup and maybe getting a little extra back. I don't have a huge frag system where I sell a lot of stuff and make a lot of money. I just frag as I go in order to support the money I put into the hobby, as well as get some great new pieces into my tank. Sometimes I take that money that I get from sales and I turn around and buy new stuff. Sometimes I just do a straight trade and get new stuff that way. So that's kind of what I'm going to go through here. In this video, we're going to look at the colonies that I started with, what I grew them to. We're going to look at the frags, so what I fragged off of each of those colonies in order to sell and or trade off some of those frags in order to get new things for my tank and get some money that I can buy stuff for my tank for. We're also going to look at what I listed them for price-wise. So what did I sell them for? And then, of course, what did I get? You know, what financial benefit did I get? And then what new trades did I get? I want to add a special note that all the colonies that I'm fragging here, these colonies were obtained by previous frags in my tank. I fragged other corals and I either traded for these items and grew them into colonies, or I used money that I got from selling them and bought these new items and grew them into colonies. So either way, everything that you're going to see that I fragged up here, the colonies I fragged up, I did not directly pay retail for. I either traded previous stuff or I sold previous stuff and then used the money that I got from that to buy these. All right, so let's look at the colonies that I fragged here. So the first one I have is this WWC Aussie Blue Gold Hammer. You can see it kind of circled there. That was the initial piece that I got in. It was 8 heads. And you can see the blue the way when you really kind of put it under flow, when the polyps or the tentacles separate, you can kind of see the blue into the stem. You'll see some pictures here as well coming up that just kind of show when the polyps are tight together, you still just kind of see that blue glow around it. So it is true blue gold. It is a very, very pretty piece. I started with 8 heads 8 months ago, May of 2022, and I fragged this up the end of January 2023. This isn't the first time I fragged it, so I fragged a single head before, and I fragged 4 heads before, and then this time I fragged off another 6. So I started with 8 heads, I've fragged 10, and I still have a good chunk left. This one here is an orange hammer that you see circled. This one I started with 5 heads. I got it on a trade when I traded off some of my grafted torch. And I traded some torch heads and got some orange hammer heads. This one I got about 8 months ago as well. And again, I fragged it up. And I actually ended up fragging off about 7 heads. I started with 5. I fragged off 7. And I still got a good chunk left. The other one that I fragged is this lemon lime torch. I traded for it about a year ago. So this one's about a year. I started with 2 heads. And I've grown it since then. And fragged off 1 head for this sell. I have an individual that I've sold many things to over the past couple of years, and this has been on the list to get. So it was fragged specifically for one individual, not necessarily just fragged for growth and space and to sell. So this is a really, really beautiful piece. So let's look at the frags here. What did I cut off of these colonies? So I do want to add a note that when I fragged up these colonies, I did use a Dremel. Obviously, a coral saw is the best of the best. Second in line for me is a Dremel. Using standard bone cutters just isn't the best idea. You're gonna crack stuff. You're gonna break stuff. You're gonna go to cut off a head that you want to cut off, and you might destroy the head, or you might splinter up the whole colony, and then you break it unintentional, and you end up with breaks that you didn't want to do. You wanted to cut off one or two heads, and you ended up breaking it in half. So now you're either gluing it back together, or you're fragging off more heads than you wanted to, and it becomes difficult. As well as when you do that, you could splinter it and damage the flesh, which then, of course, you want to make sure that frag heals well and healthy before you move it on to anybody else. So let's look at what did I actually frag off of these colonies, and what did I put up for sell and or trade. So from the WWC Aussie Blue Gold Hammer, I put up 4 heads and listed it at $120. I cut off 2 heads and listed it at $90. From the Orange Hammer, I cut off 3 heads at $70. I also cut off 2 heads at $50. And then I had a single large head, which you can see it's kind of split in there, but it's a single large head for $30. And then I had a kind of baby small head for $20. And then I had my lemon lime torch at special pricing. I won't say what I offed that for, insanely cheap, but benefits of buying from me for 2 years. So what did I get in sell and or trade from all this coral that I fragged? Well, the first thing I got was $205. The second thing I got was this Red Planet Acro, and this is what it looks like under the blues of my Salty Pops program for the AI Prime 16 HD. So this one I am very excited about. Obviously you can see the colors on it, and it's just amazing. Also, it's about 4 inches by 5 inches. So it is a very nice large piece. Here's a shot of it through the glass. The other shot was down from the top of the tank. And I'll transition here to the top of the tank as well. The color there is just straight out amazing. Looking at it, it's a really good piece. And this was one that I used cash from sales to get. So then I also have this Sunburst Anemone. Sunburst Bubble Tip Anemone. I got this as well. It was on a straight trade. So I straight traded for this guy. You can see it kind of there against my Rainbow Bubble Tip Anemones. It is super bright. So the oranges and everything on this guy really stand out. Do a quick little video of it here to show you just how bright it is. And of course, you can see it again against my Rainbow Bubble Tip Anemones, which are red with a green base. This guy is like orange with a green base. There's a little bit of, there's some red there as well, but it really is bright and shines in comparison to a normal bubble tip anemone. It's just brighter. It's just a little different. I also got this green anemone here, green bubble tip anemone. It is, you can see there's kind of yellow tips on it. And then the top of the yellow tips are pink. I know in this video they look orange, but to your eye, it is green with yellow, and then the top of the tips of it are actually pink. It's a very nice anemone, and I didn't put it there right next to the sunburst anemone that I got. I had put it farther away. It decided to move, and that's where it wanted to be. My clownfish is still hosting the 2 rainbow bubble tip anemones. Hasn't moved up and hosted these guys, but again, now we have 4 anemones in the tank, so my clownfish have plenty of opportunities to choose from. I also got this 5-head splatter hammer. So here you're seeing it under the blue portion of my tank. When I very first got it, the heads were tight, closed in. And then you're going to see it under the white light portion of my tank after it's had a couple days to acclimate and a couple days to open up. So here it is under that blue, and you can see, the green really shines. The kind of pinkish purple portion that is on the heads doesn't really shine under the blue. We'll see it a little bit better under the whites. We'll also see the whites that it's a few days later after this, so it's had about a week in the tank to acclimate here. So it's been about a week in the tank at this point. You can see those heads are just a ton fuller, and they are filling up a lot more. And you can see under the whites that pinkish purple just kind of stands out a little bit more. You still have that bright green, but you do have that nice contrast to the pink and purple. I also got about 6 heads blue candy cane. So this is it here. That came across in the trade as well. It's a really nice piece of this blue candy cane. So now I've got a few different colors of blue candy cane that I'll grow out and frag later. I also got about 40 plus blue mushrooms that I put rock rubble into that container, and I'm giving them the opportunity to attach to it, and I will move different colonies that have attached to the rubble around the tank. And once I move those colonies around the tank, I'll kind of get situated what I want from a blue mushroom standpoint, and then some what's left over I can actually again trade off and or sell and get either more financial gain from it that I can put back into the tank, or I can trade and get more corals to put in the tank. All right, so I also got a couple random frags here, a orange crush acropora, and then a neon green candy cane, which I already have, but I have another frag of it now. Hopefully this gave you some advice. Hopefully you learned something here. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, check out some more of my content, and I'll get more out soon. Thanks, guys.